some of these lines have already moved. Matt just said that Travis Kelce was 50-1 to win MVP on Sunday before the games. Now he's 14-1. And I think a lot of that, hinged on the Chiefs winning that game because they were underdogs. But are any of these markets kind of catching your eye for ones that could be on the move?
Well, I do think that, first of all, what you need to do is pick your side. First of all, pick your team that you think is going to win this game, because clearly that's going to have an effect. I think that Christian McCaffrey is a good bet. I think that market, when you're talking about Super Bowl MVP, I think his number will shorten. Right now it's plus 450. I think last week it was 6-1. That's going to continue to shorten. The Kelce thing, to me, I do need to say, is a little ridiculous, because you have to believe that if Kelce has a monster game like he did against the Ravens, well, of course, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes throwing to him. And I do think it's different than when Cooper Kupp won Super Bowl MVP, because Cooper Kupp also had like a fourth down conversion, had like an end around. So he is just a different type of player. But I think ultimately there's a reason why Mahomes is your favorite at plus 120. But I think McCaffrey is the one that I would watch out for, because at some point, if you think the Niners are going to win, I like him and I like the value with him more than I do Purdy. I do believe McCaffrey's going to get as many touches as they can possibly get him in this game.
Yeah, I think McCaffrey's a good look at plus 450. And plus, the Super Bowl MVP is not as much of a quarterback-centric award as the regular season MVP, because we know regular season MVP normally goes to a quarterback, and that's why Christian McCaffrey was left out in the cold. But here's the conversation that I think needs to be had. Why would you bet on Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP at plus 125 when you can simply get the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl at even money? Like, I know it's a little bit more quote unquote value if you take Patrick Mahomes, but if you just take the Chiefs to win outright, that gives you the whole team of options to win Super Bowl MVP.
I think that's an exceptional point. And also, it's all relative, right? Like, are you really going to bank you winning your bet for an extra 20 cents? No, I'm not. Not at all. So I think that's a great point. If you like the Chiefs, just grab them now at even money and don't worry about, hey, I have to have this one guy. I mean, yes, I understand for the Chiefs to win, Patrick Mahomes will probably be the MVP, but it's certainly not guaranteed. So why not just go with the team you believe is going to win? Take a bit of less value, but not enough of a difference in value where it's worth the risk. Per BetQL, the Chiefs spread getting 64% of the money, 72% of the tickets. The BetQL model has the Chiefs as a 5-star play. They are projecting Chiefs -4. Now, Kansas City did get some bad news yesterday. Defensive end Charles Omenihu from the University of Texas, unfortunately, tore his ACL in the AFC Championship game. Just heartbroken for him. He tweeted that yesterday, just a broken heart. Huge loss for this team. Had 7 sacks in 11 regular season games. He was responsible for that strip sack on Lamar Jackson that caused that fumble. So he is out. The Chiefs lose a big piece of their defensive line. But, Chelsa, we've talked about different maybe player props that you want to get on. When you look at this line movement, I said yesterday, I wonder if maybe this gets to Chiefs -1 because I see everyone on Kansas City. But once this got too close for comfort for Niners bettors, boom, the San Francisco money came back in to build this back up to -1.5. So maybe this is where we're going to stay right here. Do you see this line moving too much more? I mean, it is early.
I do think we will continue to see money flow in on the Kansas City Chiefs. It is too, difficult to pass up, I think, for casual and everyday bettors to go against Patrick Mahomes. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And I'm not saying that that's a terrible angle, because once again, Patrick Mahomes, 10-1-1 against the spread as an underdog in his career. So I wouldn't fault you. So I do think that we will continue to see somebody placing money on the Chiefs. It's just usually they will not move the number unless it's sharp money. But maybe the Super Bowl is different, because think about the handle that's coming in on this game. So maybe this is the instance where Joe Public actually influences the number here. But when I see this +1.5, And normally on Tuesdays, we do
Mm-hmm.
my teaser plays. This is a
Yeah.
great leg for a teaser. For Kansas City
Oh,
plus
yeah.
1.5. Obviously, you'd have to do a same game teaser because there are no games left to pair it with. But Jenks, do you think this is a smart way to attack the Super Bowl? Is getting the Chiefs plus 7.5, and then you've
Yeah.
got to do some variation on the total. So would you lower this down and hit the over, or would you raise it up and hit the under?
I would raise it up and hit the under. And maybe I'm in the minority here, but I look at these two defenses and I see a lower scoring game than expected. And I think also when you think about Chiefs, Niners, and you think about, I think it's easy for the defenses in this game to get lost amongst all of the star power. That's the one thing I will say about this game. When you talk about Mahomes, Kelce, McCaffrey, I'll throw in Purdy, even though some people say, oh, he's not really a superstar. But there is so much glamour here. The Chiefs are sort of a glamorous team. The Niners are going for what is their 7th Super Bowl title? So there is so much here that makes you think that you're going to see this very grand shootout. And I think in the midst of that discussion, you forget these two defenses are really, really good. So I love the idea. I absolutely don't see Kansas City getting blown out at all. So I love the idea of grabbing the Chiefs at what? Plus 7.5 if we're doing a 6-point teaser, and then pushing this total up and betting the under. Would you be on the other side as far as the total goes?
I think it would make me nervous, but I do think that is the correct side because look at that game between the Chiefs and the Ravens. It was squaring up to be very much an over game, but in the second half, both of these offenses kind of went cold. And that's a trend that we've seen all season long for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm trying to find the number, but second half unders have been scorching hot for Kansas City this year. I don't know if it's their defense and the fact that they make really good, defensive halftime adjustments or something about their offense that goes cold in the second half as well. Yeah, here it is. Chiefs second half unders, 18-2. What a number.
Ultimately, I don't think it happens. I would bet against it. Not now at minus 3,000, but I would have hammered it at minus 250.
All right, so I know we said we weren't going to talk about this forever, but I'm into it now. Doesn't this go against her branding, though? Like, doesn't she want to seem like the most relatable middle America girl? So, like, if she gets engaged to at the Super Bowl, by probably obviously he's going to do it if they win. There's a chance he's Super Bowl MVP. I don't know. It doesn't seem as relatable as most of her decisions are. Like, look at her hair. Like her mousy brown hair, which she has beautiful, natural, like really long curly hair, but she wants to be relatable. So she wears relatable clothes. She has a relatable hairstyle. This does not feel very relatable to me.
No, it's not. It is anti everything that she stood for in her entire career. Because what have you always heard Swifties say when people say, well, I'm sort of tired of hearing about Taylor Swift? Well, it's not her fault. It's not. It's like nobody's saying it's her fault. But when you're as mega popular and as big of a star as she is, of course, there's going to be attention that comes along with this. And she has been very crafty in saying, you know what, I'm not leaning into this attention. I'm not up here trying to get the cameras on me. I'm not up here trying to get you to cover me. I'm just doing what I do. If you choose to cover me, that's on you, right? So what did she have that quote about Brads and Chads or something about people complaining? Like she's not leaning out of the suite. So for someone who has, like you mentioned, said, I'm the every girl, right? I'm very relatable. Nothing is more unrelatable than when we're talking about the biggest event on the planet, at least sporting wise. And that's when you get engaged in front of every single camera ever right there after potentially a Chiefs win. That would be just like anti everything she's ever done to build up to this point. I feel like the Swifties would turn in a heartbeat, or they might just go along with whatever she does.